Hi everyone. Morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome all of you to the physical week of the month of Aquarius. I remind you to all the new people that start to follow these connections every day that we are not following the calendar of the tropical or sidereal calendar. We are following the Atlantean tradition of 12 months of 30 days each, starting in the moment of the rising of the star Sirius in the horizon, which last year, 2020, was August 4th in the morning. And also for the new people, I remind you that we have been working with astrology in this month, but you must know that every concept that we are speaking every day, most of it I already take it as a given because it has been like 200 days doing these transmissions, okay, every day. So most of the topics that maybe some people are asking or pointing at, I already have spoken about it. So sometimes I will repeat some things, but usually I won't repeat many of the main concepts that were already spoken. So I invite you to take a look into the other 200 videos. So another thing for the new ones that are following this, well, first, thank you all for joining us in these new days, in these new transmissions, and maybe most of you are asking if it's necessary to see all the rest, all the other videos, so you can catch up with us. So no, there's no need to see all the rest in order to catch us up. You can start just from this video on to join our alignments. There's no problem in that. But I would recommend to go and look into the other videos, because this August 2021 we will do work all together. Okay, so it's necessary for that work to kind of have the whole information that we are working with. So I would ask for all those people and thank all these people that are helping me to inform the others, the new ones, to let them know that this information, that there is no need to do all the rest in order to catch us up in these alignments. You can do it, no problem, but it is better for the task in August to have done the whole thing before. Okay, so thank you very much for informing everybody. So let's begin with the information for this week. This next 10 days of this physical week of Aquarius, we will be working with the main stars and planets of our solar system. So, which are the celestial objects that affect us the most in a physical way. So we will speak about all of them. And before we begin with the topic for today, which is Uranus, the planet Uranus, we will begin with explanation of what is a planet and why they can affect us. Mm? So the origin of the word of planet comes from planetes, which comes from the Greek planao, that means the ones that walk without any goal, not destiny, that doesn't know where it goes. And tes, that means the subject, the person that does an action. So this is the person that does an action, and this is the action. So both together creates the the person that does it, which in English I have no idea how to say it. Let's see. Sorry. Wandering. Okay. Perfect. Wander. But that would be wanderer. But errant is the best one. Okay, because it's the same. Errant. So means wanderer. Wander is the name. Okay. Wanderer? Yeah. Yeah. So errant is the English word that comes from the Latin, and wanderer it comes from the Nordics. Okay. So but it's the same origin, is the same word. So errant means the one that doesn't know where it goes. So the translation is the one that makes a mistake. Yes, a mistake because it doesn't know where it goes, basically. So that's the meaning. So it's not describing exactly the one that is looking for something, but it's describing the one that doesn't know what it's looking for. Okay, that's the description in English better. So errant comes from era, that means to wander, to go around, to make a mistake, not knowing where it goes. Okay, vagrant, it says vagrant. So and then we have end, that is the origin of entity, that means being. Okay, this means being. So N. Okay. And this is vagabond. I don't know how to scroll. Vagabond. Okay. Okay. I was just explaining something that is only useful in Spanish, so it doesn't matter in English. It's about languages that in English you don't have, which is this feminine and masculine in the end of the word. So what is a planet? A planet for the Greek people was these stars that were moving in the sky. In the first moment in the history, there were not ideas of there is another world outside. There's no worlds in the sky. There's only stars, lights in the sky. So because of this, the people call these stars that were moving the errant stars, the ones that are not finding its place that are walking through the stars. Because of this, they call it the errant stars, the wandering stars. Hmm? So for, they had no idea that they were worlds. They just thought that were planets, stars that were moving without a place. Okay, and because of this, they also imagined that they were the that they were the gods walking in the skies. Hmm? So so that's why they started to name them as gods, with the name of the gods. But there was only a few able to be seen, that until Saturn. The other ones were not able to be seen just normally. So this is why the last planets after Saturn were known recently, in the 18th century, in the 19th century, and the last one, this um, the the 20th century. So the people that discovered them, even if they were mathematicians or astrophysics, whatever, astronomers or those kind of people, they kept calling them as gods because they wanted to keep the tradition of naming the things that are in the skies like the ancient would call them. So now we know what is a planet. Let's try to remember how a planet takes form. So, important thing that maybe not all the people know, and I guess it's important to know, which is that this here, the sun, is a star. It seems silly, but it's a star. And all the stars that are in the galaxy are not suns, are stars. The only star named sun is ours. So we live in the solar system because this system is owned by the star named sun. Okay? If we were in the star of Arcturus, we would call the system Arcturus system. If we are in Sirius, we would call it Sirius system. But because we are in the star named Sun, we are in the solar system because the name of the star is Sol, Solus. Okay. So I guess it's important to know, and maybe many people don't have the idea of this. Do you remember where is our star named Sun? It is in one of the arms of the galaxy that is called the arm of Orion, and we are inside the galaxy of the Milky Way. Okay. So some people are asking if there is the sun in the center of the galaxy. No, there is no sun in the center of the galaxy. There are thousands of suns in the center of the galaxy. And maybe we call it the sun of the galaxy of the center because we can see it from our distance like one light or whatever. But it's thousands of them all together. And of course, if there is a sun, it wouldn't be called sun because sun is the name of our star. So remember that we have to call them stars, not suns. So, so 4,000 billions, I don't know the name in English, but 4,500 thousands of millions of years, let's say this way, the sun exploded. And when it exploded, it it makes that all these minerals and materials went away like gas and dust all around the system, like expanding. But these particles started to hit one another so fast that they started to create magnetism. So by this explosion and the fast movement of these particles, they started to create this magnetism in the collapse in between of them. So they started to create like irons. So these magnets that that started to to put the iron all together created the basis of the planets. Okay, so the particles that were floating around in this dust, a cloud of dust, were heating these rocks with magnetism, and they would start to compact one another, creating rocks. So they start to create much and much and much more bigger structures with magnetism, creating planets. So of course, as closer you are from the sun, the stronger is the magnetism. So, well, not the magnetism, the gravity. So that's why all the gas and the particles were compact even more. So that's why these four first planets were the ones able to compact this energy, these particles, and that's why we started to form. It started to form Mercury. Let's put it here. Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. Here in the middle, there was another one that was broken, creating the ring of asteroids, the belt of asteroids. So all around here, there is no much strength of the gravity of the sun. So all the gas doesn't need to, and the dust doesn't need to compact much. So they create these kind of planets with no much, with a lot of gravity, but not need to be compacted. So it creates the planets made up of gas. So in this territory, we have Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and here the last one, which is a rock, Pluto. And around all this area, we have a cloud of gas and dust named the cloud of Oort. So when the sun exploded, all these rocks goes out, and then by the gravity and the weight that this sun has, they all come back again, but in a way of a spiral. And the way they fall down is because the sun has so much weight that it curves the space-time. So all the things by gravity falling down to the sun moves like in a spiral, like falling down into a hole. Okay. Okay. So think about this, that the sun is like so much weight that if you put it in a terrain, the terrain will go down. So imagine, picture that the sun is in a hole and all the other rocks, the planets, are spinning around, okay, and falling down to that rock. It will take millions of years to do that, but they will eventually fall down into the sun. Okay. So the reason why I explain this weight is because we have to understand that everyone is pulled by the planets. Everyone is like pushed by the gravity of the sun and the other planets. So we are pulled towards the sun. Our energy is constantly being pulled towards the sun, but also the other planets moved our gravity. So that's why when, for example, the Earth is falling down towards the sun, but Jupiter comes behind, the Earth is doing this, but then is pulled a little bit to Jupiter and then go back to have the image, okay? It's not exactly like this, but just to have the image. So that holds the planets in orbit. The pushing of all the gravities around. Just to make a comparison, to understand how they move in this space, have you seen the birds when they are flying? Usually they take this shape. So when they fly, you have one bird here in front opening the path, and the others like this. This is because the one in the front is doing all the strength to move the air around. So the air is here, and this one is making a lot of strength to open the path of the air, helping the others to follow him to go faster. Okay, but each one that is in front will help the other one and the other one and the other one. So this is like a chain that is moving the space, pushing and allowing the others to move in this environment. Okay, so each one of these birds needs the other one in order to move better, something like this. Okay, just kind of a comparison to understand. So now think of the planets like these birds that are moving towards the sun. And when they move, they push the air, like the birds, they push the air, helping the others to fly faster or pushing the others. And they have conflicts. Okay, so this is how we can relate, even if I am explaining it with air and in the space is gravity, but kind of like it doesn't matter the distance between the birds, they will help each other to move better or to have problems when they move. Okay, that would be that would be the concept of how the planets affect each other. This makes that the movement of the planets helps or not in our process of evolution. So this position here helps me to understand something in how the planets affect me. this bird here has to make a lot of strength because it's the one opening the air so we can fly. Hmm? So the next ones here will help because they will have to do some strength too because they are in front. But then the other ones will be able to do less work, and the other ones will just go flowing, and the other ones won't do anything, just flying, like nothing. Hmm? So this means that the one that is in front will have much more effect and will feel what is happening, will feel it much more stronger than the other ones behind. So as farther you are from the beginning of the line, the less you will feel the pressure. So in this movement of gravity, we can say that this bird here is the sun, and then we have the first planets here and the Earth around here with Mars, and then we have here Jupiter and Saturn and Neptune, Uranus, and then a little bird here behind, which is Pluto, very in the back. So as farther we go, the less pressure will be felt. And what is the point of this? That as farther it is a planet from me, the less I will perceive it. It will be much more subtle. The first one that affects us a lot is the moon, our natural satellite, because the moon is moving the waters, the real waters. The tides of the ocean are because of the moon. Without the moon, we wouldn't have tides, no waves in the sea. And so basically, the moon is the one that is much more harder for us because it moves our world, our physical world, by its gravity. But then we have the other one closer, we have Venus, then Mars. They affect us a lot. Then we have Mercury, the Sun, and then much more farther in time is Jupiter. And of course, Saturn, it's like in the past, is way behind. And of course, that the planets that you cannot see naturally, like Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, are so far that you have to make a lot of strength to feel it, to perceive it. They are so far away that the connection is so subtle, the gravity is so subtle that it's impossible to just feel it. You have to go deep within in order to perceive those planets. So, of course, that all this explanation is just to help you understand how these planets will affect us and how Uranus is going to affect us. So, yeah. For those who asked me about the moon being a natural or artificial satellite, if you ask me, I will say is natural. It's a natural satellite of Earth. Did you get it? I hope so. Of course, that always the first day is a bit longer because, as always, I want to explain the context of the topics that we are going to explain in the week. Let's go. Let's do this horrible human. We have to buy new ones. So this is y el físico. So these are the three bodies. Hmm? The three bodies. The spiritual in the center, the soul around, and the physical in the outer. Today I was I was explaining a bit of why we are able to live in this planet, because we are adapted to the pressure of this planet. So we have gravity. We already explained gravity, but now the pressure of a planet. The pressure of a planet is the pressure of the atmospheres that a planet has. Atmosphere means the steam spheres. That's the translation of atmosphere. Atmosphere is the steam um, uh, layers that cover a planet, but not just cover, that goes towards the planet. So it's very heavy. So the weight of these atmospheres is the one that the weight of these atmospheres is the one that put pressure on our bodies. Okay, so it's so much weight that we in this world had to be adapted to that pressure in the environment. Hmm? This is why our body has blood pressure, has arterial pressure. All these pressures from inside are the ones that goes against the pressure from the outside, so we can move in the environment. So it's so heavy. The pressure outside is so heavy towards the body that the bodies create another kind of pressure to be able to survive in the environment. Hmm? See, so these pressures of the atmospheres are the ones that creates the weather. The low pressure, the high pressure are the ones that creates the storms, the lightnings, the rain or the clear skies is because of that pressure of the steams and the vapors that are flowing in the planet. So we have this inner pressure in order to survive in the pressure of the planet. Hmm? So something that is really incredible about this is that the thing that sets much more pressure to us is the sky. We think that the sky is like something that, wow, that we expand in the sky and the air is floating and so on. But no, it's totally the opposite. The sky is pressing us to the ground. And the reason why we feel like we are open in the sky is because of the inner pressure, not the outer. The outer is trying to kill us, pressing us towards the ground. It's totally the opposite. Okay. So this weight is the one that tells us that we are holding the weight of the whole sky, the weight of the gravity of the planets, the stars, everything is pressing us. That's the psychological concept of how the ideas, the world of ideas, is pressing us and conditioning us. Literally, a person has a weight of 180 kilos on the head, holding that weight from the sky, which is air, which is gases, but it's so much gases compressed that we are holding 180 kilos every day in our heads. And it's the inner pressure that holds us alive, basically. If we lose the pressure, the inner pressure, we fade and we can also die. Um, okay. So said this, we can understand now that the skies is the heaven, the sky is the thing that set much more pressure on us than anything else. Hmm? So now, the things that set much more pressure on us are the closer things, the things that we have here. Okay, so the closer things are affecting our physical body, the physical body, the pressure that we are feeling constantly from the skies is molding our bodies. What is farther, what is farther affects the soul, the energy of our body. And what is really far away affects the essence, the pressure of the essence. So as farther it is, the less pressure it puts on us. So we won't feel it really. So I am not speaking about metaphysics here. I'm speaking about literal things, okay? That we are being affected much more by the things that are close to us, setting pressure on us from close, and what is really far away, it sets less pressure on us. Okay, this is why, in order to feel the pressure of something that is really far away, we have to go much more within to the essence. See? So, for example, as an idea to understand this frame, what is the closest um, planets that we have? The closest planet for sure is the moon. Okay, the moon is the first one, and the moon is the one that moves the water by gravity. So it's moving our blood pressure. So it is related to our blood with our body, the organs, the body itself, and of course the gestation of our body. So it's related with the uterus and the mom. So the moon is related with our birth, our mom, everything that we have within and how we have been shaped. So that's the moon and controls our daily life, our life as human. Then we have Venus as closer. So Venus is the beauty, the shapes, the symmetry, the order, and so on. So that's why we have the physical. It affects the physical because it's all about how I look, what do I like, how do I feel about my life and the partners and relationships and so on with friends and family, etc. So it's something that I can relate the most. Then we have Mars, and Mars is all about action. What do I do? How do I act? Okay, so it's something physical, something that you can see. And then you have Mercury, which is the communication, the learning process, the sharing with others. But then we go beyond, a little bit farther. When we go beyond and farther, we find Jupiter and Saturn. And Jupiter is the purpose, and Saturn is the karma, the history of the soul. So it's much more deeper because you have to find the purpose of your soul. You have to find the history of what happened to you, what you have to heal, and so on. It's much more deeper. It's not something that people can see easily. It's something that you have to discover within. So the gravity is affecting less. And then we have the essential ones, the ones that you cannot see, that are kind of invisible: Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. But Uranus and Neptune are about the mind, about the the dreams, the connection with other levels of dimensions, the subconscious, things that you have to go very deep. Okay, very deep within. And of course, the last one, we have Pluto, which is death, is the one that says, I don't know what's happening then. Okay, it's just the unknown. So now we see this, we can understand the next days in how they affect us as they are farther in distance and not putting pressure on us, how they mold us in our way of living. Okay, I hope, yes. Okay. So this is how we can understand now Uranus, because Uranus is the sky. Uranus is the Uranus is the whole environment where all the planets live. And if we don't understand the whole picture, we won't understand how Uranus is affecting us. So let's try to understand who is Uranus. Uranus in history is the name of the god of the skies, the heavens. So the sky itself is the father of all the things in that mythology. So all the things were created by the sky because it's the mind, the mentalism, has all the ideas. But this mind tries to create again, to regenerate constantly the idea of itself. So it's trying to create new things, different things all the time. Has so many ideas. So it destroys everything and recreates from what it creates, from what it has thought. So one of his sons, which is Chronos, the time, also called Saturn by the Romans, killed his father, Uranus. Killed him, setting all the others free. And how he killed him? He takes his testicles and destroys them, so all the semen falls down into the ground, into the Mother Earth, Gaia. And this semen is the rain, the first rain of the planet. And when it pours here, it creates Aphrodite, which is Venus for the Romans. So it's the life, the beauty, the creation. Okay, so Kronos becomes the father of all. So begins the evolution, which is time in life. Okay, so that's the relation of the story, how the Greek people used to explain the creation itself. So this is describing the creation of the things, of the universe itself, because Uranus is the mind, the ideas of everything, and is the mentalism that is creating everything without any limits. But then one of his sons, the time, kills him and gets and creates the structure, past, present, future. It creates the time, and time is evolution through life, which is Venus, the beauty of creation. So that's the story that this tale is saying. So another thing that the story is saying is that the sky, the divine, the mentalism, creates itself all the spirits, and when it dies or the process of just the mind ends, all these spirits, all these beings of the mind starts to be like drops falling, pouring in the earth. So this is speaking about all the spirits incarnating in the process of life, to live through time. So even if Uranus ended in this story, is the origin of the whole story, because everyone has come from it. So this means that we are mind, and it doesn't matter where we go. It doesn't matter where we go. The mind is with us, is conditioning us constantly by the patterns of thinking. We are mind in matter. So the skies is pressuring us all the time. This is why we put this planet in the crown today, because this planet means the weight of the ideas, of the thoughts that sets its pressure in the way we think, in the way we perceive the reality, the ideas. So it's very difficult for most of the people to see and perceive Uranus, because this planet is one of the most difficult to feel, because it's in the core, it's a spiritual planet. It's so subtle that you have to work very hard in order to find it. Usually, we people stay here in the outer aspect of our reality, which is the moon with our family, Venus in our relationships, Mars in the way we act, Mercury in the communication with others, the sun that shows how we brighten the world. But most of the people not even go into Jupiter looking for a purpose in their life. Most of the people don't even go into the karmas, into the traumas to heal the history with Saturn. So even less people go to Uranus, because it's impossible, it's really difficult to find. And when you find it, you become responsible of your own reality, because you find there yourself, the main ideas that create yourself. To see this planet, Uranus, we have to go to the depth, to the shadows of ourselves, deep within. So Uranus is saying that the only way we can find really the I am is if we dare to go to the depth of our shadows and to go through our own beliefs. And just one last thing that I will say about this, and you can go outside, like, and it's Saturday, so you have to enjoy the day. So the last thing to say today is that Uranus is the only planet that makes it spins like this. Normally, like Earth, the planet spins this way. No, sorry, that way. The planet spins that way, with the north here and the south here. That's how usually all the planets spin, okay? But Uranus turns like this: south, north, turns like this, and the sun is here. And for sure, the reason why it is like this is because maybe a very huge asteroid or comet hit the planet and turned its axis this way. So it's turned like that. The really funny thing is that this planet is spinning like this instead of doing like this like other planets. Remember that Uranus is a gas planet, and nothing can live there. Sorry, I was just thinking that saying that Uranus is a gas planet in English is funny, but and kind of real actually, and nothing can live there. Sorry, my bad. So the key to understand this spinning like this for us, what is useful for us now, is that is that if this planet represents the opening of the mind to other levels of consciousness, to the connection with the self, with the mind, with the creator, is that in order to get to that point, we need to turn 180 degrees always. That will be always through a crisis, will be always through changing completely our way of thinking. We need to break with our old patterns of thinking in order to access to the divine. So this means that if we really want to connect with our divine, we need to make a change of 180 degrees of our lives, or in the way we usually do the things. So, for example, I wrote today in the blog that usually my way of doing things is by traveling. I connect myself when I travel. I find myself inspired when I travel. But this year, the universe told me, if you want to connect with the I am within, you will have to change completely, to stay in one place. And that's what I did, to change completely the way I usually do the things. So I was able to connect with myself. Okay? Sorry that I spoke too much. And I always say sorry because I speak too much, because I have Mercury in Cancer. So I think that I explained everything that is needed to understand what we're going to speak this next days. So if you see anybody asking why, or why is this, or what is happening in these next days, please send them to this video. The vibration for today is Da. The statement for today is I am divine balance. The code for today is North. In a sphere of elemental materials like iron, the amount of pressure and rotation generates magnetic discharge effects that, for having positive and negative charges, order the particles ions looking towards those directions, forming an axis. The north point of a sphere is the positive discharge of this electromagnetic field, related with the visible, the external, the future, to where the forces of life direct themselves. Let's go to the alignment. So just one last thing, now that we begin the week of the body, to remind you all that Mateia is putting her body for all of us inside the pyramid every day, because now I am in Spain, so she's taking my place in Egypt. Um, so remember to think about that, because she's holding the 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 connection every day in the morning. So just to remind you that set your intention to be connected there too. So let's begin with the alignment for today. We close our eyes, sit comfortable, and concentrate in your breathing. Take a deep breath and become aware of your physical body, caressing it, stretching it, and yawning. And once I do this, I let my body relax even more. Become aware of the place you find yourself, the room, the house, the building you find yourself in. Become aware of the city, the village you are, the country you find yourself, the continent and the earth, the planet. And now take deep breaths and start to expand your own body, becoming the room. Take a deep breath and become the city. Take a deep breath and become the country, the continent. And the last one, you become the earth. I take a look to the sun in front of me, the star that is pulling. I recognize the star with its name, Sun, as I can feel its light, its warmth, the heat, and its gravity calling me towards it. I can feel the pressure of the entire world that I am, pressing me to the core of my heart. Take a deep breath and feel the blood moving inside of you, the waters being pushed by the moon that is around me, spinning as I look at it. And far in front of me I can see Venus, Mercury, and Mars. Take a deep breath, and far away I can see Jupiter and Saturn behind it. Take a deep breath, and even farther, almost invisible to my eyes, there is Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. With my physical hands, I extended my arms towards this planet, and I catch it as if it is physical, bringing it to my crown. As I put this planet in my crown, I start to touch and caress and massage with the tip of my fingers, tapping in my crown, activating and opening this center to the information of this planet, to the divine mind. I caress, open, touch this crown, opening it, feeling this planet part of my body. As I relax my hands, take a deep breath, and become aware of the pressure of the skies over my head, upon my crown. I become aware of the weight of the mind ruling my life. Take a deep breath and become aware that Uranus is the center of the divinity, is the portal towards the divine mind, and all I need to find it is to restore my balance, to be able to connect to the divine mind. I have to change my point of view 180 degrees. So I take a deep breath and change it, finding the north of this planet, which is the spirit itself. I am the divine balance. I am the divine balance. I am the divine balance. I know that I am. Take a deep breath and start to bring this information all around your body, caressing, stretching, and yawning. Coming back here and now. Thank you everybody for being here, as always. And remember, if you want to make the task for this planet, you can go and read it in the last part of the post in the blog, which is yosoy.red. See you tomorrow at the same time.